Hello, this is your
86charles.com
program. I'm on the front of your cover. I will be enhancing your cassettes and CDs with certain facts that you may find beneficial. The average bounce meter for your
86charles.com
program will be in the area of
86
BPM. We hope that you will find our presentation precise, bass-heavy, and just right. Thanks.
In his quest to understand the complexities of congenital heart disease, Bolivian-German physician and inventor Franz Freudenthal creates and produces sophisticated devices aimed at improving the lives of patients, especially children that will carry this device inside their heart for the rest of their lives. His most heralded invention, the knit occlude, closes a hole in the heart or arteries and restores basic heart functionality. Freudenthal works with top scientists and universities from Europe and North and South America. However, his heart is in Bolivia, where he works with a team of engineers and highly skilled laborers and dreams of healthy children. With this technology that meshes ancient weaving traditions with medical innovation, there's a new way to save the lives of many children in Bolivia and around the world.
Hi, this is Charles. You are full of bullshit, my friend. I will sue you for everything you have. I will sue your ass.
Welcome to 86 Charles, with your hosts John Darby and Travis Spencer.
And with that, welcome to 86 Charles. Travis Spencer. Hello, sir.
John, quite gassy right now. I don't know what's going on. You might hear a burp. I'm trying to hide them, but
I was going to say, as long as you keep it belch, I think I'll be all right.
yeah, I'll try to laugh a good one. I thought I had one coming and I was going to do it, and then it subsided and I had to apologize. How's life, John?
Life's good. I'm not gassy. That's a positive.
I don't know what it is. I had Applebee's for lunch. It's been a while since I've been in an Applebee's, John, but shout out to the bees. Deliver a good product.
It's been a minute since I've been to the bee.
And you know what? So I take this shopping trip down to Hemet. And Hemet's this very strange town with one really long road that just rolls on through it.
Hemet, you said?
Hemet, yeah.
Like Hemet?
Which Hemet is actually a town where the Scientologists, which you're very aware of living in LA, have a compound there. That's where you're next level up. If you go to Hemet, it's their big guarded compound, which I don't really know anything about that. But you go to this long road.
I only know Hemet for one thing, dude.
What's that?
The former point guard for the Meatballs.
He was from Hemet?
Sean. Sean was from Hemet, yeah.
Wait.
I'd never even heard of it before him.
This dude is a bad motherfucker. I didn't know he's from Hemet. He's probably raised
Yeah, from
Scientologist.
Hemet.
That
He
makes
lived
sense.
there the whole time. While we were playing, he would make that commute.
Really? Daily?
Yeah.
He was probably raised Scientologist. That would make sense.
I don't know.
Whoa.
He could ball, though.
Shout out to Sean. He's a fucking bad motherfucker.
Shout out to Sean, yeah. And all of the Meatballs. Well, maybe not all of them, but I won't say which one.
Shout out to the Meatballs. What did we go? 0-10?
Some of those Meatballs can go to hell as far as I'm
We
concerned.
won a game or two, right? We won one game.
I think one.
No, I don't think we
To
won
the
any
best of
games.
my knowledge, we won one.
I don't think we won any games, actually. I think we got out of the playoffs for some reason, but we didn't win any goddamn games.
No, I think we were granted a victory because of some kind of weird forfeit. But then we actually kind of played that game and still didn't win.
It was so
It
bad.
wasn't good.
It was so bad.
It wasn't
basketball wise, how to even describe how that was so bad. Oh man. You can't have 16 people on a men's league team.
No.
Doesn't
that
work.
was I'm telling you right now, that was the problem.
That's
right
rule
there.
number one. And you have
If
maybe
we had had 7 dudes,
7
8
people that
dudes
can
tops.
play. Maybe. More like 6 people that can play, right?
Yeah. We probably had Of the literally, what did we have, like 13 dudes on that team?
I thought 16.
There was probably about 5 guys.
At least 12, yeah. At the very minimum, there's 12.
It's terrible. Terrible experience.
Oof. All right, what are we talking about today?
Well, we're talking about Dr. Franz Freudenthal and his ladies from, or I guess the indigenous Aymara women.
That's a very Bolivian name, is it not? It said he was Bolivian. And I was like, oh, yeah, Franz Freudenthal.
He's a German and Bolivian.
That sounds so Bolivian.
So here, let me read you this little chunk here. Dr. Franz Freudenthal developed a life-saving technology to address the heart problems faced by those living in the high-altitude city of La Paz. Unfortunately, no single machine was capable of producing these intricate devices. But when automation failed, Freudenthal turned to craft. Suck on that, robots.
Shut the up. No one cares about your robot fan fiction. Know your place, trash. Robots. Don't give a about no robots. They ain't got no soul.
Suck on that, robots. Now the ancestral weaving techniques of Bolivia's indigenous Aymara women are being used to knit these breakthroughs in medical technology. And they're basically like little mesh hats that go into your heart.
It's pretty amazing. It's incredible.
It's incredible.
Like, we don't know, like the 3D printers can't do it, John? Do we know?
Well, it's incredible on several levels. Incredible that it even happens and that this exists as a solution, and the fact that there's not a machine that can do it. You still have to go back to indigenous technology.
Okay, well, the question is, John, so the article said something about, like, this was a good alternative for this indigenous culture who, like, wasn't into open heart surgery. Is it, like, an easily fixed thing that they can do with open heart surgery? And they just, like, which is still cool, but, like, at the same time, it's like, all right, get with it, guys. Sorry, we can't save lives by building hats when we could just cut in and fix it.
Right, but the point was like a lot of the people that are born in this area all have this problem. And so it's like you can't just you can't just have every kid have open heart surgery.
Why not?
Because it's Bolivia, man. They're not rich.
All right, but like so they're
and
still
it's not
like cutting into
there's got to be future health, like to have heart surgery as a child, like that has to be like future health risk.
Of course, but it's still like it's a surgical process.
It's
they have to
invasive.
They cut into your skin and put this hat on top of your heart, right?
Not like, I think it actually goes like inside of the heart.
Okay, so it's still heart surgery. It's not necessarily open heart surgery.
No, of course it is.
But I'm just asking, like.
But it's also not a thing that it's not because with most like open heart surgery, it's like you have to go in like every 20 years. This you don't. This is like a one-time solution.
Except that you have a thing inside of your heart.
Yeah,
like I think you should check on it.
And that's that's the point. That's the point. Is it stays there the rest of your life.
Oh, great! And
that's why it's difficult for a machine to make that.
So these weavers are just like all like dead on. Like not one of them made a mistake. So like we haven't had anybody who's had a hat on their heart live for 20 years yet, right? So there's no difference. Like somebody needs to go in and check on the hat in the heart in like 10, 20 years. Or we're going to have to do it when somebody has a problem, right? That's what I'm saying. It's the same as open heart surgery. So what's better? What's better?
Like, why don't that's such a weird stance to take. That doesn't make any sense at all.
We just don't have enough data is what I'm saying. It's like, okay, so you're telling me that for open heart surgery. Well, he started
this like in 2015, so it's already been a couple of years. This isn't brand new.
Okay, but for open heart surgery, it takes, you're saying somebody's going to have to look at it in 20 years. And what I'm saying is like this surgery.
No, not look like if you have open heart surgery as a child, like you're gonna have to have it again in like 20 years to replace whatever they did to your heart if they put in a valve or whatever.
Okay, but how's that different from this?
Because this is more of like a I don't want to say filter. Filter isn't the right answer, but it's basically a mechanism. It's a little woven mechanism that fixes the problem your heart is having.
Great, but we have no idea.
Stick it inside of there.
But the whole point is,
and it's a permanent replacement for the thing that is broken in your heart.
Okay, but like we have no idea. Like allegedly, these products or these strands that we're weaving together are gonna last for 20 years, but we have no idea, John. Right? So it's like, how's it different from? You're talking about a mechanism, putting a little tube or a strand or whatever. It's like, how's it different from putting this cup on top and we have no idea if it's going to last 20 years. So, like, it's not any different. It's cool.
We don't even know. You're born and you don't know you're going to last 20 years if you want to get into it like that. We don't know anybody born is going to make it 20 years. That's a stupid argument.
No, that's not a stupid argument. You're telling me that
like
if you
the person could get the surgery and walk out of the hospital and get hit by a bus. Like, there's not a way to account for that.
Okay, but how do you... Okay, so you just literally said whatever device we have to put in to make it work for... We have to check on it in 20 years, right? For open heart surgery, right? That's what you said.
Yes.
Okay. So what I'm saying is we don't know if this little device that we've hand weaved, which is also probably amazingly incredible, we don't know if it'll even last 20 years because nobody's had one in their heart for 20 years.
Right. Okay. Yes. But they can test things and have some sort of idea.
What does it have? A Bluetooth chip in it?
This is built
it has Bluetooth in it, John? Like, what the f*** are you talking about?
What are you talking about, you fool?
I'm just saying, you're saying, like, you're trying to say,
like
this is like the most amazing thing.
A dream catcher, and he stuck it in some kid's heart. Yeah. That's not what this is.
That's what it sounds
weirdo.
like.
I will read exactly to you what it is. The device is made from a single wire of nitinol, a flexible alloy of nickel and titanium. Nitinol was originally developed by the U.S. military. The tiny nit oculud devices are small and intricate and difficult to mass produce. Instead, they are woven by Aymara women in a quote-unquote clean room. It takes about 2 hours to make each device. The device can be placed without an invasive operation using cardiac catheterization. Nitinol is able to memorize its shape. The device is folded up and inserted into a catheter, which is inserted into the groin and then run through blood vessels to the position in the heart where it is to be placed. The device is released and returned to its original shape, blocking the hole that caused the heart problem. By using a minimally invasive approach, the technique addresses the concerns of some indigenous people of Bolivia that to manipulate the heart is to desecrate the soul. It takes about 30 minutes to place the device. Do you need to hear more about it?
John, what do you think the clean room looks like?
I would imagine much like a drug operation.
Titties out.
Women in their bra and panties.
Titties out.
Gas
Titties out in the clean room. Yeah, I'm all for it.
Well, I said bra and panties. I'm not trying to dehumanize anybody.
Nah,
you got to make sure you're not stealing the
product. That's not clean enough. Titties out. It's clean room. Like, you're not leaving with a little
To be honest with you, man, every room I've been in with titties out, it ain't a cleaner room.
Good point.
About to get
dirty.
Good point.
Good point, but I'm not going to allow a little basket hat to run out with your bra on or your panties. Like, these little basket hats are tiny. You know, that's the whole point. And you start selling basket hats in the black market, we got a whole new game, son. We got a whole new game.
Here, despite your awesome titty jokes, I'm going to read this little part to you, too.
I was done. We had to kill it on that. You're f***ing this up.
No, you're an idiot. The first human implantation was done at the La Paz Cardiocentrum by Alexandra Heath and coworkers. 53 implantations were made by this group from May of 2007 to February of 2011. 4 attempts failed. Of the 53 implantations, complete closure occurred immediately in 71% of patients and 100% after 6 months. Findings are generally positive, and this is to your credit, although the erosion rate is not yet known.
Wow, you have a brilliant way of summing up my point. Thanks, John.
Right, but the point is, if it erodes, guess what? They can take about 30 minutes and put another one in and not have to crack open a child's chest.
Not a child anymore in 20 years. You're a full-grown man. You can take a surgery. All right.
What if you don't know it's going to last 20 years? What if it only lasts 20 minutes? Ah!
That's enough.
Moving on.
Come on home, girl, he said with a smile. You don't have to love me yet, let's get high a while. But try to understand, try to understand. I'm a magic man.
Check. It's time for the Facebook World News Update. This Real to Someone News Update is brought to you by... This is a Facebook News Special Report. 56 minutes ago near Tucson, Arizona, a man said, "So mad, I wish I could strangle somebody. Came back from the movies with the shits, despite not getting butter in my popcorn, which I spilled..." God. I didn't get butter and I got this shit. Okay. Oh man, it's not gonna be easy. Okay. We bring you a Facebook News special report. 56 minutes ago near Tucson, Arizona, a man said, "So mad, I wish I could strangle somebody." Came back from the movies with the Came back from the movie. God, that's really hard. Okay, serious. Whew. We bring you this. Okay.
What? Pass the popcorn. Pass the 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 what? Pass the popcorn. Yo, I wrote this basement, never tunnel type portion, just to accompany some audio distortion. Bust the popcorn, dropping off my cassette. And yo, crumbs, how you feel? I hope it's blessed, man. Dig the square roots, be the setters of examples. Finding mad rhythm in the static of your samples. Quick to make you move to my groove as I soothe the ear of the listener or the musical prisoner G. Now you're free, you can be all you wanna be. Go where you wanna go and see all you wanna see. Because yo, your ambitions I won't neglect. And to them brothers who ain't
Nickel, what? 5 topics currently trending. Travis, what am I thinking?
John, I have no idea what you're thinking, but there are Japanese scientists that think that they may have figured out how to know what you are thinking.
Oh, leave it to the Japanese.
Did I just blow your mind?
Or just read it.
In late December, I'm going to read these names, and you're going to love my pronunciation because I think I'm part Japanese, John. Guoha Shen, Tomoyasu Horikaya, Kei Majimi, and Yukisaki Kamitani released the result of their recent publishing on research using artificial intelligence to decode the thoughts on the scientific platform BioRxiv. Machine learning has previously been used to study brain scans, MRIs, or magnetic resonance imaging, and generate visualizations on what a person is thinking when referring to a simple binary image like black and white letters or simple geographic shapes. But the scientists from Kyoto developed a new technique of decoding thoughts using deep neural networks. The new technique allows the scientists to decode more sophisticated images which have been multiply layered to color and structure, like a picture of a bird or a man wearing a cowboy hat. John, you following?
Yeah, I'm following.
This is a complex
I thought it was
Okay.
weird. I was like, man,
We've
I'm
been
just thinking
studying
about
meth-
cowboys.
Well, cowboy is a strong word. So now just picture that image in your mind, and we're going to read it. We've been studying methods to reconstruct or recreate an image a person is seeing just by looking at the person's brain activity. Kamitani, one of the scientists, tells CNBC, our previous method was to assume that an image consists of pixels or simple shapes, but it's known that our brains process visual information hierarchically, extracting different levels of features or components of different complexities. And the new AI research allows computers to detect objects, not just binary pixels. These neural networks or AI models can be used as a proxy for the hierarchical structure of the human brain. For the research, over the course of 10 months, 3 subjects were shown natural images, such as photographs of a bird or a person, artificial geometric shapes, or alphabetic letters of varying lengths for varying lengths of time. In some instances, the brain activity was measured while a subject was looking at one of 25 images. In other cases, it was logged afterward when subjects were asked to think of the image they were previously shown. Once the brain activity was scanned, a computer reverse engineered the information to generate visualizations of a subject's thoughts. As the accuracy of the technology continues to improve, the potential applications are mind-boggling. The visualization technology will allow you to draw a picture or make art simply by imagining something. Your dreams could be visualized by a computer. The hallucinations of psychiatrists, patients could be visualized, aiding to their care, and brain-machine interfaces may one day make or allow communication with imagery or thoughts. John, that was a very complex article. What'd you get out of it?
Well, it was a little. I was misled from the beginning because and it could have been my own fault. But when you say like it's reading our mind, for some reason I always think about like it's thinking of it's picking up your memories or like your current active maybe inner monologue. But it seems to be more of just it's kind of pulling the visual off of your brain. So in terms of if you were thinking about, I'm thinking about a tree or a specific type of tree, and it would be able to create that image. It's not necessarily playing out like a movie.
No, but that's exactly what I was thinking. So it's like it's literally taking. So the data that we construct is from it's called an fMRI. So it's like how the blood in your brain slashes through on these different images. So it's calling that an image, and then when you feed it to the computer, you're saying this is a tree, right? And so you have a tree, which is T, and then X, which is that image of what your brain does when it sees a tree.
Yeah.
So they're feeding this into a mega computer for all the different things, and like it's literally becoming like a new language. And they're doing all this crazy shit and putting it through. And now they have these insanely smart computers of neural networks where it's just like a bunch of so much information is tied together, where all this data is going together and smashed together. And it's like, but it's like working. It's predicting the right things.
See, and I thought initially this was going to be much more about like, oh, this is how it reads our mind and how it's going to be an invasion of private thought. I think this is going to lend itself much more to like the why can't I think of the word? It's not synchronicity. You
mean with Kate Beckinsale?
What?
What's that movie we talked about before?
Not serendipity, you idiot.
Love it.
Singularity is what I'm trying to come up with. Thank you.
Oh. Sorry,
I think this lends itself more to that sort of a thing, where all of a sudden we're going to be bonded with AI so that we think things and things happen.
Okay, but the obvious progression from that is for how long until AI figures out that we're the stupid ones and the
probably
smarter
not very.
than us and can run circles around us.
We'll simply I think that gets more into
it's an exponential
the
growth
Matrix type things where we just start becoming the batteries for AI.
Okay, but that's the whole point. That's the whole point of this. Like, so if like a basically programmed program with a neural network that we all understand how it works now can kind of fucking read our minds and let us know what we're thinking. Fuck, man, we're feeding it this data.
Yeah.
Because we're just
we're
like
giving it up.
We're this we're a biological machine, so it's so weird to like fathom how like a picture of a tree like in your brain looks like a thing.
Yeah,
like that's a real thing. But I don't, it's hard to say. You have to like do a study across it. I'm sure the science is good.
Well, I think it goes back to our last episode where I'm so worried that we're gonna get too far into artificial intelligence before we actually understand enough about how our own brain works, and we're gonna end up making a horrible mistake.
That lets us know, right? But I love the science and like the people who want to do it.
Oh, for sure, it's
scary.
I would never be a proponent of nope, let's go backwards. But I just feel like there should be more done overall. If we were doing more just in general, we'd probably be learning.
John, I'm glad we made all this science, but you know what? We're going back to Jesus. Jesus did it all. Jesus.
Jesus, save us. I know you hear my prayers. Jesus, save us. I know you hear my prayers. Jesus, save us. I know you hear my prayers. Jesus, save us. I know you hear my prayers. Jesus, save me. Can't let the enemy play me. The dirty devil gotta be crazy.
Well, if you're interested in going backwards,
Jesus,
Trump's tariffs could be bad news for whiskey drinkers. The steep tariffs on imported aluminum and steel that President Trump proposed last week has some industries that rely on those products worried. But it's not just companies that use those metals directly. American whiskey makers see trouble ahead too, thanks to a pointed speech from EU Trade Commissioner Cecilia Malmström, in which she proposed retaliatory taxes on American goods, including bourbon, denim, bicycles, peanut butter, orange juice, and motorcycles. Those products might seem like a random assortment, which I disagree. I think all of those things go together perfectly, but they're specific swipes at various lawmakers. Bourbon, of course, is made in Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell's home state of Kentucky. Orange juice is a bumper product for the swing state of Florida. In response, the maker of Jack Daniels, of course, stepping up, and Woodford Reserve, Brown-Forman Corporation, released a statement strongly opposing the tariffs. Quote, Brown-Forman could be an unfortunate and unintended victim of the policy, end quote. CEO Paul Varga told Bloomberg, the overwhelming majority of our products are made here in America, and over the last few years, we've been investing heavily in our American manufacturing expansion. A European whiskey tax would be onerous? Sure. For Brown-Forman, given how well their brands sell internationally. We're going to monitor the potential for retaliatory tariffs closely, Varga said, and of course we're sharing our point of view in Washington as well. Booze in general seems to be in the bullseye of the new tariffs. The beer industry is also worried about what the aluminum tariff will mean for canning their product and will likely need to pass on the cost to consumers. Miller Coors, like Brown-Forman, made a public statement opposing the potential legislation, calling the tariff misguided and warning that it would likely lead to job losses. It's going to be tough for Europe to get our coveted precious Jack Daniels. What are you going to do?
Nope, nobody cares about Jack Daniels, sorry.
Everyone cares. Apparently, people do. It's being used as a political bargaining chip. I don't like it.
Okay, so this like covered all whiskey makers in all of Kentucky, and guess who was the one who made a press release to like try to oppose it, even though they're being very fucking un-American, as all the gun-owning Kentucky Trump supporters would tell you.
I think the fine folks at Jack Daniels have done an excellent thing in saying that they oppose these tariffs.
I don't think this is going to help their domestic whiskey selling, and this isn't going to help their international whiskey selling.
No, but
because
no, it's not. It has
one,
nothing
John,
to do with their
Jack
selling.
Daniels
it has to do with their
is
manufacturing.
garbage whiskey, and we've covered this fucking 3,000 fucking times. Like, am I gonna have to start bleeping you like you're
Did
in
you
the
not
stupid
listen?
fucking
We have
show
been investing heavily in our American manufacturing expansion. Why do they have to expand? Because they're selling more overseas.
Because everybody in America has figured out that Jack Daniels is garbage fucking whiskey.
You're an idiot.
That's it.
No.
Nobody drinks that shit.
It's because most Americans are
garbage.
kind-hearted and they want to share with the world the wonderful things that we've come up with.
So why did this stupid fucking... Who wrote this article and what site did you get it from?
This article is from... Well, it was on MSN, and it comes from Extra Crispy.
Big surprise. Oh, great work.
Which is owned by Time, apparently. Or maybe that's just the picture.
Why the did she cite Kentucky? She cited Kentucky and Mitch McConnell, and then she's talking about Jack Daniels? Like, Jack Daniels is a Tennessee
all
whiskey.
you're doing. I'm going to stop you here because all you're doing is proving you didn't
It's
listen.
not a bourbon. It's a piece of shit.
You didn't listen to what was said. Because Woodford Reserve comes from there, too.
I mean, I'm not fucking sucking the dick of Woodford Reserve. Like, they can go to hell,
Right, but
too.
that's why the Kentucky thing affects Jack Daniels.
Oh, because they own Woodford Reserve.
Because they also own Woodford Reserve.
Which means that, guess what? We all knew for a long time, like, Woodford Reserve, before it got bought by Jack Daniels, was a good whiskey. And guess what Jack Daniels did? They ruined it just like all of their fucking product, John. Can we move on? I'm done.
Yeah, no, we can move on.
We can't even talk whiskey anymore.
But, like, you completely focused on the wrong thing of this story. Like, yes, I brought it up because of the Jack Daniels connection that we always make, but we didn't even touch on the fact that the tariffs are unjust and they're going to cost Americans jobs.
Are they?
Because this guy wants to be an asshole to Europe.
Like, maybe Europe needs an asshole. I don't fucking know, man. I don't know.
Miller Coors said would likely lead to job losses.
Good. It's a fucking story by a journalist.
Supposed to be the jobs president.
Who knows, John?
It's embarrassing.
He keeps claiming jobs are up. I have no idea. I don't fucking care. Like, I don't.
The world's already mad at us, and now we're gonna cut off their supply of bourbon.
Oh, John, the world's mad at you, and you're like upset. Like, no, like, you know what? Bourbon it deserves more money because it's better than your whiskeys.
It's a load of BS.
Like, I'd rather drink a bourbon than a scotch any day of my life, John.
Right, and if you go to Europe, you're not going to be able to get your bourbon, and then you'll understand the plight.
I'm going to Europe. I'm going to South America. We're going to just smuggle a bunch of bourbon down with me, and then I'll go to Europe underwater, and I'll also smuggle fucking bourbon with me. You get it? You need tariffs.
Whiskey and women just about done wreck my life. Whiskey and women.
John, let's move on.
Please.
I don't know what I'm talking about.
Sick of your crap.
Are you going on spring break? You got big plans?
Yeah, of course, bro. Always. I get loose.
Well, I wouldn't recommend going to Texas.
Ever.
Because high levels of fecal bacteria have been found at popular spring break beaches, John.
To which I respond, no shit.
Good one. Good one, bro. Over a dozen popular beaches have tested positive for high levels of fecal bacteria, according to a website run by the Texas General Land Office, TexasBeachWatch.com. The Corpus Christi Bay and North Padre Island were both found to have high amounts of fecal bacteria in their waters. The website also listed Matagorda Bay, Freeport, and parts of Galveston as places where fecal bacteria were on the rise. Pathogens can make our waters unsafe for humans. Swimming and the other recreational activities in water contaminated with pathogens can make people ill. The agency added that swimming in the polluted waters can cause nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, headaches, and various infections. Texas Beach Watch added that infection most commonly occurs after microorganisms enter a swimmer's body through cuts in a tear of the skin. State health officials warn that the warm Texas waters may put people at risk for vibriosis, a sometimes fatal illness which is commonly contracted by eating raw or undercooked seafood. John, let's go to Texas and have spring break. You excited?
Absolutely not. I'm not going to go and swim in their chocolate mud. But not at all
that
surprised,
makes you an
man.
asshole, first and foremost.
Spring break is foul. And I would imagine I guess I'm going to just disparage Texas. But if you're going to Texas for spring break, I don't imagine that you aren't a person who has a problem with crapping all over the place.
John, that's what makes Palm Springs so much better. I've never been a fan of Palm Springs. I was always kind of afraid of it. But at least when you go to the waters of where somebody might be savagely tearing into somebody's asshole, like, it's all chlorine. It's all chlorine, bro. So, like, look, like, there's going to be a lot of fucking crazy sex everywhere you go. Spring break towns, whatever, but like Palm Springs, like a lot of
I
chlorine
imagine
in the
Havasu's
waters.
gross too.
And that, like, I think, bro. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's like I would imagine most spring break, like New Orleans, probably the same thing too. Bourbon Street probably has a high amount of fecal bacteria during Mardi Gras.
Not enough chlorine. That's why you got to go to a place like Palm Springs. High end anal sex. Like, you don't want low end anal sex. Bad news. That's all I'm saying.
Is that just like a tall person? High end. Leave it to you to even muddy up a fecal matter story. You want to know what really matters, Travis?
Please.
Jeff Bezos is making an insane $230,000 a minute.
Ha! A minute. Shut the
A minute.
up. Get out of here.
Amazon founder and CEO Jeff Bezos started 2018 as the world's richest man, and his net worth has positively skyrocketed so far this year. Jeff Bezos' net worth is based mostly on the price of Amazon stock, and Amazon shares have been soaring, up more than 50% over the past 6 months. Bezos started 2018 with a fortune worth nearly $100 billion, and he quickly added $10 billion to his net worth within the first 2 weeks of the year. By the end of January, Bezos was up $20 billion year to date. According to the Bloomberg Billionaire Index, Jeff Bezos' net worth just hit $129 billion, up a whopping 30.1 so far this year. Bezos now holds a huge lead over the world's second richest person, Microsoft founder and philanthropist Bill Gates, whose net worth is only an embarrassing, impotent $92 billion.
Pathetic.
And who has made only $128 million in 2018. Flaccid. Jeff Bezos' net...
that's it. He's done.
Yeah,
he's
scrub.
so done.
Absolute scrub. Jeff Bezos' net worth has been growing at a staggering pace. He added $35 billion to his fortune last year, and it seems like he will surpass that mark easily this year. Less than 3 months into the year, he's been expanding his fortune at a pace of better than $10 billion a month. According to some quick back-of-the-envelope math, Bezos' fortune has been increasing by roughly $231,000 per minute in 2018. So every minute, Bezos has made roughly 4 times what the average American worker makes in a year. That's ridiculous.
Could we just move on?
I'm going to give you this last paragraph here. But just for fun,
nothing.
If Amazon shares somehow kept rising and Jeff Bezos' net worth kept expanding at a ballpark clip of $10 billion per month, he would make $120 billion in 2018. In other words, he would more than double his wealth in a year. His net worth would top $200 billion, making him not only the richest person on the planet, but one of the richest people of all time.
Right. Okay, but like, here's the thing. Like, who are the people who own the banks and they're making more money than he is all the time? Like, we don't even know. The craziest thing about the richest people in the world is we have no idea who the they are. There's something more powerful to not being able to be Googled than to be Googled, right?
Well, I mean, his individual wealth is what it is, but he's not necessarily the most powerful person despite all of that money.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like,
Somebody, I think to
don't
what
think
you're
all
saying
the-
is I think there are people that allowed him to make that much money.
Right. Exactly. But it's going to be a magnificent fall too. Like there's no way like he can do this. And I guess Gates did an amazing job of like balancing out through his humanitarian things and kind of like he pretended he wasn't about the wealth anymore, right? When he was the richest person in the world.
Right.
So he avoided through that possibly a catastrophic fall, right?
I mean, fall of what kind?
Well, do you think Bezos is just going to keep going on
I don't think
this
he's
and
going to
there's
keep
not gonna
making
be,
this
like,
much money all the time. But like, is he ever going to be
But it'll just
broke?
balance?
No. like that's. I mean, you could buy a country with that type of money. Like that's never run out type of money.
Okay, but John, what countries are available for that? The shithole countries that Donald Trump was talking about, are those actually for sale?
I mean, I would imagine you could buy a pretty decent chunk of
Shithole
Canada
countries.
with 200 billion. You could probably get a pretty nice lot of Canada.
I mean,
And I don't believe Canada was on the shithole.
you can't sell countries unless you're a dictator. And yeah, any country you're gonna buy from a dictator is
Isn't
probably a
Canada
shithole
run by a
country.
dictator? Am I wrong on that?
I mean, America currently is. We're probably for sale. but
Yeah,
I've
that's the
seen
Roe
anybody
guy.
pony
The
up
Roe's
with
the
a-
dictator of Canada,
Dude,
right?
I wish that's the solution right there. If Jeff fucking Bezos bought America from Trump, fuck, man. We'd be okay.
Hey, I'd let him run it.
John.
Haven't we had enough of Jeff Bezos? The Amazon billionaire we all know seems to be after worldwide domination.
John.
Yes, sir.
I have important
I
news.
doubt it.
I have important news. Stop getting political. There was a cat who alerted the residents of the house that there was a fire.
That's very surprising.
This story is so amazing that we're going to break our code, and I'm not going to read the story. I'm just going to let you hear this amazing story from Jackie Kane of
better
Action
not
News
be
4
long.
Pittsburgh. It's going to be good. Wait for it.
No one was hurt out here, and the deputy fire chief credits the family cat named Oddball for that. This so-called hero of the morning didn't have a lot to say. But the deputy fire chief in McKeesport says Oddball the cat had a lot to do with saving his owners' lives.
We found no smoke alarms in the house, so fortunately the cat was on top of his game.
The couple living in this home on the 2000 block of Lamont Street were in bed when Oddball made a move around 1 a.m. that lived up to his name.
Cat came flying through the room, and they thought that was unusual, and they opened the bathroom door and found the fire.
The deputy chief says it was a life-saving move. They got out in time.
Both adults exited the house, evacuated, and they seemed to be fine. They refused treatment.
Firefighters knocked out the fire. They think it started in the attic. Meantime, Oddball
Oh, what did I want to say?
and his
I
owners
almost
are
said
being
that.
helped by the American Red Cross as the investigation into what started the fire continues. Now, if you're wondering how Oddball got his name, his
I'm
owners
wondering.
say
Yeah, I'm dying
all of
to
the
know.
kittens in his litter were black, except him. In McKeesport, I'm Jackie Kane, Pittsburgh's Action News 4.
Jackie Kane killing it.
What if
Jackie Kane just? Are you You're so fucking happy that a cat saved the family, right, John? Please tell me you're not a fucking monster and you care. Like, if the cat saves the family is saved. Like, don't just be such a dog.
I don't know why they would let this cat get on the news and start spouting its racist rhetoric. That's what I don't understand. Why would you give that cat that sort of platform to go on and say that? Like, yeah, I get it. You pulled some
That's
people
not
out from a
Oddball's-
fire, but Jesus.
That is not Oddball's fucking fault that it was born into a black family. Like, I don't know what. I don't want to be like controversial here, but I have no idea what those black cats did in their entire life. I have no idea. We have no idea.
Dude, here's the whole story. I could have saved Jackie some time. The cat was trying to save its own ass and happened to wake up the owners on its way out the door because it was going to go see ya, wouldn't want to be ya. It didn't warn them. It took off, and they happened to hear it hauling ass out of the house. Ridiculous.
John, have you ever had a cat in your life? Like a cat that you really like? Have you ever had a cat in your life? Period.
Well, yes. And I've had one
Okay.
that touched my heart.
Ooh, tell me what happened. Break it down.
She died. She had to die at some point. She was a
Of course
cat.
She died, but like, how did she touch your heart? How,
She was
like,
the
when
best.
did you
Well,
fall
and
in
I'll
love
tell
with
you why she was the best cat ever. Because she was just like a dog, but she was in a cat's body.
her? That's the stupidest thing you ever said.
No, dude, I'm telling you, she was just like a dog, but she was in a cat's body.
Let me give you one instruction.
She was
and
adorable.
I'm gonna give all.
She
of
was
America-
adorable.
I'm gonna give all of America one instruction right now. Go ahead, eat some mushrooms, and sit by your cat. A cat that likes you and that you enjoy.
If you can find a cat,
You
that
will
and that's the other
quickly
thing. This
learn.
cat actually genuinely loved me. Most cats don't care about
I
anybody.
doubt it. I doubt it, John. Nobody
No,
loves you.
disagree.
It's impossible. Not a cat, not a human.
Chubby is in
There's
heaven
nobody
right
in the
now,
fucking
hissing
history.
at you.
Did you have mushrooms in front of Chubby?
No.
Oh, you didn't eat mushrooms with
No.
Chubby. Then you didn't know. Cats are actually gods of this universe, and we're just their little fucking.
Right, but I could speak to her without drugs, Travis. My third eye is pried wide
don't get
open,
it, Joe.
sir. Constantly.
You don't get it. You don't get it. Spell God backwards.
It's not cat.
This is what the people want to tell you. Exactly. Because if it was tag, that's a game. Or tack. Or is that tic tac? Whoa. Tic.
I shouldn't have let you go
tac.
on this long.
Toe.
You're an idiot.
Jesse's favorite part of the show.
From last week.
Hello, folks.
So I think someone owes me $100. Derby said anyone who could guess what the Easter egg was in last week's episode would get $100. And then he didn't give anyone an opportunity to guess. He just said what it was. But if you stay tuned to my favorite part of last week's podcast, you'd know I recognized how many bleeps there were. Not the exact number, but that there were a disproportionate amount. And so I think I probably deserve at least half of the $100 since I got halfway there without even knowing I was supposed to be looking for something. How about this? I had an Easter egg in my segment too, and we'll call it Double or Nothing. So if anyone can guess what it was, you don't owe me anything. But if you can't guess, I get $10,000, which is not double 100, but it's double the zeros. And these are my terms. Agreed? Sweet. The Easter egg was the number of times I was right is the same number of $100 I deserve to be paid. This is Jesse, and making cash was my favorite part of last week's podcast.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Moonlight light. Yeah, yeah.
Derby.
Better have my money.
It's time for the Facebook World News Update. This Real to Someone News Update is brought to you by we bring to you this Facebook World News special report. 56 minutes ago, near Tucson, Arizona, a man said, "So mad, I wish I could strangle somebody." Came back from the movies with the shits, despite not getting butter in my popcorn, which I spilled half of because the new drink holes at the Park Mall Theater seats don't fit my cell phone. I knocked my cell phone into the popcorn. I also left my apartment key in my car because I was running to get to my apartment before shitting my pants. So I decided I had time to make it to the apartment complex bathrooms by the gym. They were locked, and security nowhere to be found. So I shit my pants. and left a trail of shit that fell out of my pants all over the apartment complex on my way back to my apartment. 2 showers later, and 1 of 3 loads of laundry left, and I want to kill the security guard that works here, that locked the bathroom, but he was just following orders. The bathrooms always used to be open at night. I am sick to death of people doing the wrong thing. Locking the bathrooms at night because something might happen, because someone might do something bad. This is how shit gets spread all over the place, and I am not gonna clean it up. This has been a Facebook World News special report.
Mercury in retrograde, it happens 4 times. Mercury in retrograde. There was never near. Mercury in retrograde. There was never near. There was never near. Mercury in retrograde. There was never near. There was never near.
The planets move slowly across the sky, but then they suddenly stop, go backwards, loop around, and then go forwards again. That mystified the ancients. Why was the planets do that?
Isolation kept the Piper arrays.
One tweet reads as, no wonder I want to impulsively give myself some bangs and reach out to all my ex-boyfriends. I love that one. Another one says, for the rest of the month, my excuse for everything will be Mercury in retrograde, even though I don't even know what it means. Mercury in retrograde, even though I don't even know what it means.
This damn hard to stay where I belong.
Even though I don't even know what it means.
And as Mercury bypasses and swings by the Earth, it moves to go backwards. So let's say you're in a car, you're in the fast lane. You overtake the car in the slow lane, and you look at the car, it seems to go backwards.
Don't you turn my brown eyes blue. I'm not like you. I'm not like you. And drink your milk to make you strong. And you ain't wrong to use your skills to get where you belong. You set the minutes, you take your chance, but you are not special.
You allow him to turn the corner. Mama, there goes that man. Millsap gets posterized.
Dad's got notebooks. We don't know what's in her notebooks. She's gonna show us all her notebooks. Little yellow pad.
Okay, I have in front of me what could either be like, OG treasure or bury it, never let it see the light of day trash. It's a little golden journal. It's 5 inches by 7 3/4 inches, 80 sheets, narrow ruled. I know because it says so on the cover. It also says it was made expressly for the UCD bookstore, Davis, California, 95616. Debbie Loftus, English 5F. And this here is my first journal from college. And on the cover, there's a couple of stickers, like a penguin and bunnies and an ice cream cone, and it says yay. I wrote the yay myself. And of course there's 80 pages front and back, so I guess that's 160 pages. Honestly, there's doodles, but not nearly as many doodles as there are nowadays, which I find weird. The funniest part of this journal is that the first day is September 27th. And I'm not telling you when. September 27th. And the last day is October 30th. So this is 1 month. This journal was filled in 1 month. And it's written like pretty densely. I mean, it's not quite like the Kevin Spacey journals that I described that I have too. But it's page after page of like lunatic ramblings of someone who sounds like they're about 14 years old, which, okay, granted, I was 18, but seriously, some of this is like so silly, I don't even know what to say. I mean, the first the first pages are cool because they talk about my friend Debbie Bestie, and who became my roommate later. So it was Deb, and we were roommates all through college. The first weekend I was at college, Deb invited me home with her to San Jose, where I met her boyfriend, she is now married to, or still married to. Their daughter, in fact, goes to Davis. They're college professors. He's a politician, and she is like an abalone expert, and gets to go to places like, I don't know, like Australia and the Galapagos, and study abalone, and I get to live in Los Angeles and do podcasts. So you tell me who got the best major, right? But I don't have to put my finger in an abalone butt, and she does. Okay, I don't know if abalones have butts. They have a foot. They must have something. Do they have a butt? I don't know. Let us know in the comments if abalones have butts. Anyway, they have a nice life. And I mean, I have a nice life too, but it's kind of nice to look back and see, you know, the chronicling of the beginning of our years-long relationship here in this lunatic ramblings of a junior high school student. But anyway, that's where like the normalcy stops. Like the first couple pages, oh, I met Debbie, we went to San Jose, we had a nice time, and then it's just like page after page of stuff like, Barbara, Lorene, and I were sitting around talking about Rich, and I said, he has such nice, pretty blue eyes, and he does. They're so nice, and he's got big eyelashes, and, I mean, I'm paraphrasing, but it honestly says right here, Barbara, Lorene, and I are talking about Rich's eyes. And, you know, Lorene, in fact, is one of our loyal listeners, so she will appreciate the fact that I mention her and that we're talking about Rich. And she will remember. She will say, you know, Deb, you're right. Rich had really nice eyes. And later, I talk about Barbara, who was my roommate, and Brent, who was Rich's roommate, cuddling on the floor. You know, they're never going to listen to this, so they're not going to be able to say that I'm slandering them, but it's completely true. Like, I think at least one of them had a boyfriend, girlfriend, or whatever, and they were still hooking up. I mean, not hooking up. I don't know, whatever. I mean, this, who am I to judge, really? Let's see. And then I go on and I spend a lot of time talking about this guy, Tom, who lived down the hall, and by the end of the journal, and again, this journal is only like a month long, Tom had already gotten kicked out of the dorms because he was a nut job. He was like a drunk nut job. He's not going to listen to this either, so I think it's totally valid for me to use the term drunk nut job. And then I talk about my other friends. You know, a certain amount of the people that I'm writing about in this journal, I still see, so I find that fascinating. But what's really kind of disappointing is I thought that, again, this would be one of those things where I would have some literary masterpiece because it's English 5F and there should be some kind of masterpiece coming out of here. And then instead, I talk a lot about pizza. There's like one porn movie mentioned in here, which is, I don't know where that came from. And yeah, that's it. And the last page of this, treasure, it talks about how apparently downstairs there was something that was like, what men want, what women want. Yeah, what do men and women want? And you're supposed to make a list. And so I made this list, and I'm not going to read it to you completely, but it does start with, I want flowers, and ends with, no, I can't say that out loud. It starts with I want flowers. Anyway, I'm going to continue my search for literary genius, and maybe here's something to think about. Maybe your journals are supposed to be kept to yourself. And if that's the case, I'm not sure what I'm going to talk about next week. Oh, who am I trying to kid? I'll come up with something. Have a good week.
I've brought bread
to men, women, and children.
I've brought water with lemon for the table.
I have hot tea.
Can I box that for you?
I'll bring your change.
Okay, we're going to so this is about one of our coworkers who recently passed away. All right.
So you got
No, here. I'll go. I'm going to start. Okay, you start. So we used to work with a coworker at our job who was extremely resistant to retiring, quite known for being woefully unqualified to do literally any job. She was asked to stop covering the phones after one day a writer called and she said, "Wow, you write really terrible movies." So at that point in time, she was no longer allowed on the phone. I believe at one point she had a pencil sharpener taken away from her. She was known to be, casually racist, definitely homophobic. But I sat across from her for 2 years, and for 2 years she would often forget to turn the ringer off on her phone. So 700 to 7,000 times, somewhere in between there. The phone would ring once, twice, 3 times a day. Always the Charlie Brown theme song. But some OCD senility, I don't know what was happening, but she would never just pick up the phone as quickly as possible. It would start to ring, and she would always let it go long enough so there would be do-do-do-do-do-do-do, and she would chime in, boopy-doo, boopy-doo, hello. She was never silent. She was never silent. When she went to pick up a pencil, she would go, pencil, 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 pencil. She was known for humming in the ladies' room. To the point where once she retired, being, the old lady that she is, she would come back and she would visit. And I got to the point where I knew her daughter somehow by coincidence outside of work, and we became friendly, and when she knew this, she would come in and she would visit, and she would always want to gossip about her daughter to me. So I got to the point that every time she would come to visit, there's a space between the back of my cubicle and the window, and I would crawl behind it and hide until she had made her whole round in the department and leave so that I did not have to speak to her.
You really did that?
I did that. I did that half a dozen times. Rest in peace. Rest in peace. Rest in peace.
Oh my God.
That was Deb and what sounds like the bulk of her crew. Not even the bulk. She's got a huge crew. But big shout out to everybody. I definitely heard Eric.
What a dinner party. Sounds exciting. We need to be at these dinner parties, man.
I don't know where this was or when this was, but we definitely missed something. That was a good time.
Lunchtime, bagging on your old fucking hated employee, your hated coworker.
That hated is probably strong.
Yeah, that was
that was a very colorful because I'm sure now you look at it and I'm sure it's super annoying at the time, but you look back at it now and it's probably a lot of funny stories to tell.
Oh yeah, but just day to day and working in an office. I've never really worked in an office. I mean, a restaurant's bad enough when you're constantly running into somebody who's incapable of doing their job, but office, just where you're sitting there, you hear every conversation. I could just see it grinding on your last nerve, and you can't really get up and leave unless you've got a little crawl space to hide into and tuck your head.
That part right there is what makes that one of my favorite stories, because I would totally do that.
So good.
At a point, if I had a little it's hard for me because I'm long, but if I had a space to hide to just avoid somebody, I would do that all day, every day, twice on Sunday.
Oh yeah, wouldn't that be amazing at the bar if there was just like a little cubby?
Oh, if you could just hide.
You're like, oh, this asshole's coming in again. Usually it's like, yeah, I've had bartending at least. It's more regulars, and people that come in that are worse than but plenty of terrible coworkers too.
Oh, there's
but as far as
regular
hiding
at one of my jobs now, and if you end up having to talk to her, we call it getting Rachel'd.
Oh no,
because she's just like, she will lock you in, and if it's slow, you're toast. You can't go in. Like, there's nothing to do. There's nowhere to hide. There's nowhere to go. You're there, and she keeps you in a conversation. And it is rapid fire, blah, 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 my divorce, my boyfriend, my kids, my divorce, my boyfriend, my kids, my job, my job. Over
Does she tip well?
Over and over.
Does she tip well?
Not enough for that. Like, she doesn't tip poorly, But for all of that, I would gladly give the money back to not ever have to talk to her.
That's always the weird, just like the awareness thing. It's like, I've got things to do, and some people just
it's like
talk
I'm at my job, and you just kept me engaged for 11 straight minutes.
There's fires burning in the back. People need
like,
drinks.
Like, who knows what could be going on? Who knows? Because I can't turn around.
Hey, Rachel needs someone to talk to, man.
All the time. And what sucks is because she's there and she drinks, you hear the same things over and over. It's like, yeah, I know. You told me about that already. We've already had this talk.
Back to the story real fast, John. Like,
Yes,
what do you suppose happened to get your pencil sharpener taken away?
See, I thought about that because my very first thought was, did they think she was going to hurt herself? And then, because of how annoying this person is, I assumed it was an electric pencil sharpener.
Right.
And would probably incessantly just pencil. And maybe
pencil,
singing
pencil,
her little pencil theme song while she's doing it.
Pencil. Awful.
It reminded me of it sounded like the lady from Office Space.
That's
where she comes
exactly
and she
what I was
goes,
thinking,
somebody's got a case of the Mondays. Like that type of woman where you're like, oh my God. Everything about you makes my skin crawl.
I was thinking the stapler guy, like they keep moving her desk.
Eventually down to the basement.
Down, she's in the basement by herself. Like she's just like, has anybody seen my pencil sharpener? Pencil sharpener. Pencil.
That was a great story. That was one of my favorite stories. That was great. I love talking trash, and it sounds awful, but talking trash at a funeral is about as good as slinging dirt gets. I don't think that they were at a funeral, but you know, the spirit was the same.
Get some drinks in you and be like, you know what? So and so was kind of an asshole.
It's a drag, but whatever. You choose the life you live, especially when it's a universally kind of disliked weird relative, and you can all get in a corner, and there's no fear of someone's going to be, but Aunt May was great. Everyone's going to be like, nah, she was crazy as hell. Remember, she used to put the cats in the freezer.
Then you got to worry about the haunting though, because she's around. You know, the ghost. The ghost is just listening to all this shit.
It's about time she knows. It's about time she finds out what an awful person she was.
Right. Or that moment when they pass, they have that revelation. They're like, whoa, I was an asshole. Whoa. On to the next life. Shout out to Deb. Thank you so much for the story. That was great.
Shout out to Deb and the whole crew.
The crew. The guild. We just call them the guild. The guild crew.
Her band of bards. Are bards the ones that tell stories?
Yeah.
Deb's band
the
of
guild
bards.
Wow.
I like it. T-shirts on the way.
Keep them coming. We love it. John, who else we got to thank?
Ooh. Anybody in particular? I don't think I have any specific shout-outs, man.
Start with Jesse McIntosh. Thank you,
Well,
sir.
I mean, I like to try to think of that there's outside of the family, but I got none of those. But we can always
I'd like to thank
Jesse.
the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, for making this all possible for us.
Maybe for you.
There you go. That's inside the family, though, for me. Me, Joseph Smith, Jesus, we hang out once a week, just kicking it.
You and Joe Smith kicking it?
Yeah, always.
That sounds great.
Well, I mean, sometimes he's busy. He's got a lot of things to do. He's got a bunch of wives. So,
well, that's just lovely.
That is lovely. All right, John, where can the people find us?
Well, check your heart. We definitely exist there. Your conscious, your subconscious, and the internet. 86charles.com.
That's 86charles.com?
86 that Charles. Get rid of that. 86charles.com.
Now you're making it real confusing. We had it perfect.
Terrible.
The hell. All right, we're on the Instagrams and the Twitters at Company Blaster. Hit us up, send us a story. Tell us something nice about yourself. We want to hear nice things about yourself.
Or tell us something awful about somebody you work with.
Ooh.
That'd be even better.
Ooh, you really like that. You like the dirt, man.
Heck yeah, man. I like slinging that mud.
John, how can the people help us out?
Well, while you're at 86charles.com, you're going to think about doing some shopping. We don't really offer any products. So you click on our little tab, takes you over to Amazon. Get whatever you want. You buy judgment-free. And a very, very tiny portion of that, which has nothing to do with you, comes to us and allows us to bring you this varied form of entertainment.
I don't know how Jeff Bezos does it. He makes like how much a minute?
$230,000.
And he still has a little time to give us a little scratch. What a savior this man is.
I was going to say,
get a little scratch off the top.
Like, just in the time that we've been doing this, he's probably pulled like $2 million.
Oh, man. Could you even imagine? I don't even know what to do with that kind of money.
That's insane.
Actually, I'd find a way, though. You know what? I'd find a way. I'd be strong.
We should do Bezos's Millions as like a remake of Brewster's Millions. And you got to figure out a way to spend $100 billion in a day.
In a day.
And then you can't buy a country.
Then you get $1 trillion, right?
Yeah. Jesus.
Oof. 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 All right, John. It's that time. Without slinging too much mud. It's 86 something. Keep it brief.
Well, you know what? It's a little premature, but only slightly because it's happening either way. But I'm 86 in Garden Grove, dude. Moving on.
Garden Grove? So what, you're not going to listen to Sublime anymore?
I mean, I'll always listen to Sublime. I'm just not going to live in Garden Grove.
Oh, where are you headed to?
Not 100% sure yet, but it's looking like a good old Annis Line.
You would. This is always where you're meant to be, John.
Oh, yeah.
Do you have that Disney season pass? Do you already have your season pass?
Just getting closer to Walt.
Just walking in.
No, I don't think, dude, I don't know how much a season pass is, but it's got to be crazy expensive, and I don't think I would use it enough to justify it. I mean, it's got to be like $5 or something, right?
Do you have your colors? Do you have your stripes?
Oh, well.
Are you in one of the gangs?
Yeah, maybe we'll just do, you know what? Save it. Save it. Save it. Save it. Save all of that.
Episode. Can't wait. We'll wait till you make it official.
No, I just had a brilliant idea, so save all of that.
You're gonna get jumped in. All right. All right. Better leave it there.
But hey, thanks, Garden Grove.
The new boy in the neighborhood lives downstairs and it's understood. He's there just to take good care of me, like he's one of the family. Charles in charge of our days and our nights. Charles in charge of our wrongs and our rights. And I see